Hi, Bradley. Thanks for making the trip out here
Hi,
today.
thanks for this opportunity.
Yeah. So, tell me about yourself. What do you like to do for fun?
Let's see. Well, besides music, of course, um, I also do a lot of rock climbing. I guess that's a major hobby of mine. Um, so I go rock climbing a lot. I like reading. I like to read a lot. I read a lot of philosophy books, um, as well as other kinds of books. I paint a little bit. I mean, it's just kind of my hobbies are just kind of scattered everywhere. It's
Well,
like,
that's
yeah,
well, that's good. Nice and rounded. Um, I see here that you on your resume you had some music teaching experience. Why don't you tell me about that?
yeah. This past summer, especially. I was working with my high school percussion director, and I was teaching private lessons to certain percussion students that he wanted me to teach. So that was a weekly thing, and I was working with individual students on a weekly basis, and we were working on, just um, teaching percussion kind of things, making sure they're well-rounded musicians, and working on anything that they needed to work on. And I also um, whenever we had drum camps or band camps, I was kind of in charge of certain groups of people. So being in charge of a large group of people like that really helped me become more of a leader. It was kind of because I was in charge of a lot of the activities that we were doing as well. So I got to be creative and coming up with things to do, but it really taught me how good of a teacher that I could be if I really apply myself.
Oh, good. Yeah. Awesome. What made you interested in music therapy in the first place?
Well, originally I was actually going to go straight into psychology
Hmm.
because I mean I'd always played music before, but I didn't even know that music therapy was a thing. So I was planning on going into psychology, and then I guess I just heard of it. I don't even remember how I heard of it. I remember looking it up somewhere. I was like, huh, music therapy, what is that? So I looked into it, and it's like a perfect combination of like two completely different interests of mine. So immediately I was drawn to it. I mean, yeah, that's basically it.
Good. Awesome. So if somebody random on the street, you're talking to some friends that don't really know, that aren't really music students, and and you tell them, I'm a music therapy student, I'm a music therapy major, and they say, what is music therapy? How would you go about telling them what music therapy is?
Well, the way I usually describe it is that I have them think about just anything that a different kind of therapist would do, like a physical therapist or a psychologist or anything that has some kind of therapy, right?
Mhm.
And then I say we work on almost all of those fields except we use music as a medium in every single one of those.
That is
So it's
very
like it's a
true.
little bit of everything, but we're always using music to achieve something.
Yeah, it's very special field in that sense. So let's kind of move away from the music aspect of the interview, and let me ask you, what do you think your strength is? Your most prevalent strength.
I'd probably say that it's my ability to learn things fast. I mean, I'm sure that's one that you probably hear a lot, but I think this really applies to me. For instance, at least this past semester, especially in private percussion lessons, I was learning a completely new piece every single week for the entire semester, just because I was able to learn and memorize and get it all down that fast. And I definitely think that applies to things other than music as well. But since this is a music related field,
Yes.
I think that's a pretty good skill to have.
Yeah, I'll accept that answer. And what about your weakness? If you had a weakness, what would it
I'd probably say my greatest weakness is being awkward. Like,
What do you
just
mean by that?
what do I mean by that? It's like sometimes it's just certain mannerisms that I have. It's just I don't really know how to act in certain situations. So like I don't know where to put my hands or something, but it's like little things like that I don't know. It's kind of interesting to try to define awkwardness, but I mean, on the other hand, it's like being awkward. It allows me to be used to being uncomfortable and being exposed to that so often, it helps me to be used to like being embarrassed. So I guess I don't really get embarrassed anymore.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
and since I'm constantly interacting with people, my skills in that category are constantly improving anyway.
Very true. Very true. Um, so after you complete once you complete your internship requirement for your degree, what are your future career plans?
I actually plan to go back into grad school, um, probably working as a music therapist at the same time. But I want to go into grad school and eventually get a PhD in a field like psychology, and then maybe take music therapy into that direction, like introduce music therapy to other psychology graduates instead of just staying in the field of music therapy. So it's like still combining different interests of mine and trying to, you know,
Yeah,
see where I can go with it. But
yeah.
nothing's really set in stone yet. So
Like advocating for the field. That's
yeah.
not great. Um, what skills do you possess that makes you a good music therapist?
Um, like I said, the musical skills just in general, I think those are good. But I kind of already mentioned those. I think something else that I would say is that I'm I'm a very analytical person, and that I'm very good at noticing patterns and noticing underlying meanings behind things. So, like, for instance, if I'm seeing a patient on a weekly basis, it's easy for me to see the changes in their behavior and what those changes could represent. And I think having that kind of scientific mind is really helpful in trying to achieve maximum efficiency whenever I'm a music therapist.
Okay, good. Now you're applying for this psychiatric facility, um, and the patients here tend to have some behavioral problems.
Yeah.
How would you handle when a patient were to have some kind of behavioral outburst?
I always take things at a very calm level. Like even in very stressful situations, I have this ability to remain calm all the time. And I think that if I deal with a patient in a calm and respectful manner, that would help him to understand that what he's doing is kind of out of the ordinary. And I think having even just one calm person in the room can really help to bring things back down a little bit. And I think that's at least where I would start. I mean, I would definitely take it on a case by case basis. But
Okay,
yeah,
great. I wanted to ask you one more question about your schooling. What was your favorite class when you were in your college classes?
favorite class. Hmm. I'm probably. I think I would have to go with philosophy, even though it's not a directly music related class. I just loved how nothing in that class is black and white, and I like how deeply you're able to think about all kinds of things. And I definitely, if there was a class that allowed me to think that deeply about something like music or psychology, like in the same thing, that would be absolutely perfect.
Awesome, awesome. Now, just one more, basic uh, job like question is, if you were had a conflict with another employee, how would you handle that interaction?
Um, I'm always, I would say I'm pretty good at being impartial a lot of the time, so that if I'm ever in conflict with somebody, I can easily step away from the situation and look at it from an objective manner, and just to try to find a very equal compromise for both people, and being very being fair. That's one of my priorities whenever I deal with any conflict, is trying to be as fair as I can possibly get.
Okay, great. Well, we're almost done here, but do you have anything prepared musically for to play for me?
Yeah, I could play a couple songs if you'd like.
All right, let's take a listen.
All right, we're using a close-up shot just because the speakers on this camera aren't very good.
Okay, Bradley, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, I'll be playing Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash. Love is a burning thing. makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire.
Great, that sounded awesome.
Thanks.
Could you play it for me in a different key?
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire.
All right, that's pretty good. Awesome. I just wanted to see if you could do it. Thanks.